Helping a client find leads trumps an employee's newborn baby being hospitalized. All the best to the client, though. Our client's sales director, Richard, comes to us with a complex request for a detailed quotation drawing to rise above the competition. Of course, we said yes, despite the tight deadline, and it should have been smooth sailing, but it was not. The newborn of our project coordinator caught the RS virus, and the situation became that bad that she got admitted to the hospital for 4 days. Any traditional employee setup would have surely meant delays, but thanks to the outsourced contract they had with us and the extremely accommodating nature of Shabazz, we were able to turn the hospital room into a temporary command center and communicated effectively with our contractors in Pakistan to deliver what needed to be delivered. We wish him all the best and hope he converts this lead into a deal. Okay, so I see what they're trying to do here, right?
Yes.
I see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to say that we are an accommodating workplace. We allow our people to work from wherever. However, the man's baby was in the hospital.
Yeah. Just because you
Personal
can,
crisis.
yeah, just because you can work from wherever doesn't mean you need to work from wherever.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a Shabazz. I don't want to be a Shabazz, but I think I would be a Shabazz to the extent that I might have also uh taken that work with me as no, my wife listens to this pod. My family listens. I would know when to put it down. I might send off a few emails, but I wouldn't be taking meetings. Like I'd send off a few emails to get this thing handed over, but then I would expect that my team would be able to function without me and let me focus on my family crisis. That would be my
Yeah.
expectation.
Yeah. You may not be able to comment on whether you're a Shabazz or not, but I'll tell you, like, there was a point in my career, and maybe I still struggle with it a little bit. I think some of it is a little bit of just being young and not trying to set like a kind of a bad precedent of who you are and you know, uh,
Yeah,
the work and effort that you put into and having pride in what you do. But I'm
yeah,
trying very hard to continue and keep the mentality of not being a Shabazz, right? Of drawing a very clear line and recognizing that if that's a situation and it ends up getting to the point where there are repercussions that involve me, either losing that client or even losing my job, I should have other opportunities because I don't want to work in a situation like that anyway. Like if they fire me because my newborn baby is in the hospital for 4 days and like I have other matters to attend to and the amount of stress that I'm currently under is not going to give me like I'm not going to be performing or functioning very at a very high level and very well just in general with the amount of stress and anxiety that you're going through. So like
yeah.
if there are repercussions associated with that, you probably need to step away. Like you need to walk away from that company and look into other you know other places of employment that are going to be a lot more understanding. So I'm
Yeah.
trying not to be a Shabazz, but I think I have been one before.
Yeah, and no gripe to Shabazz because he's probably doing his best and trying to be a good person. So no ill will to Shabazz. But yeah, life is more important than that, right? Life is there's so much more to life than our work. And I saw this right here, this comment. The amount of posts like this and the ones of people sitting in hospital rooms while relatives die, being thankful that they have a great employer who's allowing them to work remotely while someone dies or is ill is really disturbing. And then they go on to say what they think of the society. I mean, I think it's an indictment a little bit on our society, which is
Yeah,
unfortunate.
we could talk about that for days. But I do agree a little bit with that. Is like you don't want to. So like this and like in this instance, you're taking a situation that's very poor, right? And you're putting a positive spin on it, but you're also kind of giving a template or a layout of how you're theoretically supposed to respond, right? Of
Yeah,
like, okay, I have a newborn that's in the hospital. Well, somebody else can work, right? So like if somebody else is doing it, potentially they're my competitor. And so like, do I really want to get outworked by my competitor? And then it's no, and it sets up a really bad precedent. So like don't glorify this either. Like don't glorify, going to all ends or all extremes of the earth, to move heaven and earth to make this happen, right? Like don't, like if you're enjoying time with your family on vacation, like don't post stuff like this either. Like, hey, we had a really important meeting with the client. It's like, okay, either one, you go in with it planned, or two, like you don't sacrifice time with your family and then glorify that you sacrifice time with your family that you had planned, that they probably don't get to spend a lot of time with you anyway if you're a workaholic like that. Like don't glorify it either and make other people feel like that's the process or the things that they need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go. The icing on the cake is closing the post by wishing Richard luck and converting a lead into a deal with absolutely no mention of the baby suffering from the RS virus.
Yeah.
That little baby is the reason why we're in this mess at all. This could cost us a lead. They called it a massive own goal. I want to get talking about elevating the podcast. I want to get like a sound effect for like lunatic, and then maybe another one for like own goal, where it's like a graphic where somebody comes onto the screen and like kicks the ball into their own goal. Anyways, we're working on it. We're working on it. But that has been LinkedIn Lunatics. That has been this episode of the podcast. We're getting better and better every single day, right? We're getting better and better every single episode. We're at episode 27. We're trying to go every other week. Uh, it's been like 5 weeks. I'm sorry, but Luke over here is holding me accountable. So who knows? Maybe we'll have an episode next week. I don't know. I like talking to Luke every week, and this podcast definitely gives me a reason to do that. If you like
Yeah.
Luke on the pod and you want him to keep on coming back, make sure you leave a comment and tell him you want to see him back in the next one, and maybe we'll even let Luke host his own episode.
Really? Host my own, huh?
Yeah.
They're
We'll have to
probably
get
gonna
your.
download. Well, they'll probably download that one. They'll be like, "No, get somebody else. We want to hear from somebody else."
Yeah, but thank you, Luke, for joining the podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. As always, rate the podcast 5 stars. Support us on Patreon so you can get a shout out every single week. And as always, we will see you guys in the next
I just made a
episode.
pilot, then they
Thank
threw
you,
me in
guys.
stations. I'm not complaining, I'm not complaining. My thoughts get complicated, I cannot explain in lameness. Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments. Still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify, they put me on the station.